Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. Gotta say, not a bad episode of NXT. We finally got closure on the Nakamura-Samoa Joe rivalry. We were able to get a glimpse into Australia, see what happened there. And more importantly, we had our number one contender matches to see who's going to round out the fatal four-way, to see who's going to become the ultimate number one contender for the NXT Championship now that Samoa Joe is effectively out of the picture. Spoiler there, but I think we all knew that was coming. And they were four very entertaining matches. I'm hyped for the Fatal 4-Way next week. And yeah, this is a very straightforward episode of NXT, and really no complaints here. Partner, what did you think of it?
Yeah, this is a relatively uneventful episode of NXT. We really had the Joe Nakamura steel cage match that we had already known about because it was kind of plastered all over the internet that Nakamura finally, retained and kind of put Joe down, and probably the last we'll see of Joe in NXT unless he has like one final program before leaving. And then, of course, we had the four qualifier matches to determine who was going to be in the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership. So really, match-heavy show. I think we only had one interview all night, and it involved some women that we haven't seen in a couple weeks, at least not since the week after TakeOver. So yeah, it was an entertaining, albeit uneventful episode, I think.
I think that's a nice, proper way to articulate it. So with that said, are there any other preliminary remarks you want to make?
I don't think so. Let's get right into it.
All right, heat of the night. And honestly, I have no heats of the night tonight. Like I said, a very straightforward episode of NXT. It had a purpose, and that was table setting for next week, which is really going to be table setting for the next TakeOver. So you can see the groundwork already being laid. No complaints here. If anything, it'd be trivial, like, Graves' hatred for Elias, Samson, or this and that, but I was even able to let that go given what we got tonight. So I'm good. What about you, partner?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the exact same lines as you. The only thing that really bothered me all night was, the whole Graves, Phillips, like that whole thing is completely backwards when it comes to Elias Samson, because Graves shits on him, Phillips defends him for some reason. It is just a mess. So, and the ridiculous thing is, people Elias Samson and act like it's his fault that the commentary doesn't get his character right, but it's not. It's their fault. And then, of course, you have the fact that Percy Watson is still pretty garbage as a commentator, and we aren't quite sure why he made it, although we have our speculation that isn't exactly politically correct. But yeah, they didn't really give us anything to complain about that wasn't commentary on the show, just because it was nothing but matches. And I'm not going to complain about a booking decision when we don't even know who's going to win the Fatal 4-Way.
Exactly. I really couldn't have said it better. So with that said, let us get right into our NXT review. And you know what? I liked what we did here because we go right to Australia. We go right to the steel cage match. I believe it was last week on NXT, the Japan match main evented.
Yep.
But this is actually the opener. I actually much prefer that because I'd much rather focus on the present, building the future, than an event that happened in the past that I wasn't even there for and that wasn't a network special. So this is our opener, Nakamura, Joe in the cage. I gotta be honest, I love both guys. Maybe it's just me being tired of this feud. I thought this match was all right. We've seen these guys work together so many times. It's not like you could really do much new. I thought Joe and Balor, their cage match was much better. I mean, even the finish really didn't kind of wow me. It was just Joe eating 3 Kinshasas. And I mean, Nakamura did have a cool moment where he thought he could go out the door, but he really wanted to settle this. He wanted to put Joe down. So from a character standpoint, I liked it. But in ring, it's like, yeah, we've seen Nakamura hit multiple Kinshasas before to put down a really credible opponent. It just happened that it was a bull in Samoa Joe. So not a bad match, but Nakamura retains, and I'm really looking forward to him having a fresh feud now. What do you think?
Yeah. This again, really enjoyed this feud when it first started, but I mean, it's only been going on for what, like maybe 5 or 6 months now, and it feels completely done to death. I'm so ready to be done with it.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Nakamura is right there with us because again, he put Joe down in a major way. Nakamura retains. Again, not a bad match by any means, but both of these guys are such exemplary performers. I want to see them do something new. For Nakamura, I mean, well, that future's kind of wide open. We'll get more into that later. With Joe, maybe Rumble, maybe they hold off. We don't know. Anything can happen. But yeah, Joe is out of the title picture. That's one thing we can say with certainty. Nakamura prevails. Anything else you want to say about this?
Crazy because Samoa Joe has feuded with a grand total of, I think, 3 people over the last 14 months.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Seriously, he was feuding with Balor, and then he had a really quick program, like a 1-month program with Sami Zayn, and then went back to Balor. And ever since he beat Balor for the title, he's been feuding with Nakamura. So that's been Samoa Joe's life since NXT TakeOver Respect, which was last October.
I mean, and no doubt about it. I mean, Joe is such an athlete. Like, he deserves to be working with people of that caliber. It's just insane. Like, only 3 feuds in a 14-month period. Like, that is nuts to think about.
You know what? He's great, but I feel like that's a waste of Samoa Joe. And not necessarily saying that, like, oh, you're letting Samoa Joe waste away on the undercard or anything like that, but the fact that you're not giving him more to do than just, yeah, go fight the last guy you fought. Yeah, go fight the last guy you fought. It's like, give us something new. Come on, Samoa Joe's awesome. I don't want to see him against the same guy for 6 months in a row. And that's what we've basically had with him and Nakamura.
I mean, I love his mean streak, and I love how he's acted as a heel. I just want to see him do that to people on the main roster. Like, I want to see him come out on an episode of SmackDown Live and beat the shit out of Mojo Rawley and stake his claim, or better yet, like we've been saying, John Cena. Oh my God, if he'd handed John Cena his ass like he did with Nakamura in those steel steps, I would fucking pop. So I think that's my thing when it comes to NXT performers that we know are really talented. That's why I was so happy when Balor got called up, and I'll be elated when he returns because we just want to see them work with these guys and put on those matches. To me, Joe has already kind of exhausted the NXT sandbox from where I sit because he faced 3 really credible guys, was dominant in different parts of all of those feuds. Like, there's really not much for him to do. Oh, and he was the first ever 2-time NXT champion. Like, that's his legacy there. So not really much else for him to do. I say call him the hell up. And with Nakamura, I'd love to say the same thing, but I'm really starting to think that you were right, dude, and that it's going to be the long haul for Nakamura, which for all Shinsuke fans, I mean, probably a divided opinion. Some may really love that he's there. Others may really think, when's he going to get his WrestleMania main event? And I'm definitely in that camp. So I'm kind of indifferent about him being NXT champion again, but hopefully this run is better than the last one he had. So,
yeah, I definitely feel the same way. Who Nakamura's first defense post Joe is going to be, and we'll find that out, I believe, next week, because next week is the Fatal 4-Way.
Yes, it is. So with that said, let's start putting that Fatal 4-Way together because we go into our first qualifying match because our only interview segment didn't come until later, right?
You're kind of skipping ahead a little bit there, brother. We did have a recap of the 6-woman tag match in Toronto and then an interview with Peyton, Royce, and Billie Kay.
Oh, so that happened right away. Oh, well, that's my fault because I got my placement all mixed up. And yeah, what did you think of this?
Well, I'm kind of scared that one of them is going to lose to Daria, and I really don't want them to.
Yeah, I don't want them to either. I think they really need to be protected. I don't think they will, though, to be fair, because Daria is still so green and so really new to the mix. Like, we've seen her, but she really hasn't been in the thick of things yet.
Yeah, but she's also a former MMA fighter, and you know how much Vince loves people that can win in a real fight.
Oh, God, I know, but... and see, that's where I'm always trying, because I really don't think she's going to win, but that fear in WWE, it always kind of exists in the back of your mind, and rightfully so. Obviously, I'd give the win because we know she's going to be facing Billie Kay next week. I'd give the win to Billie. I really love what her and Peyton are doing together. I think they need to be kept strong. I think they do really need to be heels, even if at the end of the line, all you do is feed them to Asuka, which kind of sucks, but, at least build them up for a grander purpose. And, Daria gets the win. That just does not jive with me at all. I think that's horrible. But yeah, they pretty much said we don't associate with losers. Daria cuts him off, says, I don't want to be a part of your future plans, but I do want to beat one of you up next week. So you discuss that amongst yourselves. She makes him flinch, thinking she's going to attack, and then she walks off smirking to herself. I hope Daria gets put down next week. Not really much more I can say than that.
Yeah. All right. So up next, we did have our first of our 4 Fatal 4-Way #1 contender match qualifiers, and it was Dillinger versus Eric Young. And this is kind of awkward because it didn't even have a proper finish. Ty just got the victory off of disqualification because Nikki Cross can't contain herself, apparently.
Yeah, I got it, fine. It was a quick match. It did its purpose. It got Ty in the Fatal 4-Way. But if this whole story, even if it's a long story, because I highly doubt it concludes at the Fatal 4-Way, that's just my opinion, but is Ty Dillinger proving himself and getting that validation of self, like, I belong here, I can do this? I think it would have been nice for him to beat Eric Young. Maybe they feel like Eric Young being protected is the more important thing by not eating any pinfalls yet. But see, that's the problem when you've got 2 stories that I feel like are big, the rise of Sanity on one and Ty Dillinger's vindication on the other. You've got to choose, which one is going to take priority. And for me personally, I feel like they took the wrong choice. I would have liked a more full and complete match with Ty getting the win because, Sanity's given him a lot of crap in the past. But yeah, Nikki Cross comes in just out of nowhere, starts attacking Ty, which of course causes the DQ. And he's able to keep Sanity at bay until Big Damo comes in and he asserts himself. So yeah, we just continue this whole thing of Big Damo being a part of Sanity. He's taken Wade Barrett's really old finisher of Wasteland, but he's actually added a senton immediately after it. So that actually, I guess, makes it more smooth, more coherent, if you will. Good segment, a bit, like you said, disjointed, confused. Like, I would have preferred a fuller match, but it is what it is. Ty Dillinger advances.
Congratulations, Ty. You are the most over person in NXT, not named Nakamura, and they still won't give you a proper win.
I know, right? It is so sad. And I'm the guy that relishes in dumping on Dillinger any chance I get, but everybody knows sincerely I think he is talented and he deserves better than this. It was so weird. I feel like you'd want to give him more of a legitimate, solid, I don't really know the word I'm grappling for, but really a good footing in this Fatal 4-Way to show, hey, I have a legitimate stake in this. I can win this. And that's how you give him his qualification when everybody else got pinfall victories tonight. I don't get it. Yeah. Maybe they did that deliberately to single him out, like, oh, you're only here because of luck, and then he's got to prove himself in the Fatal 4-Way. But I don't know, man. That feels kind of cheap to me.
Yeah, well, even though he easily had the most decorated opponent tonight, and Bobby Roode had easily the least decorated opponent of the 4.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, because those two probably won't be done with each other either, so it's interesting to see how they qualified.
But you know what, though? And by the way, I also wanted to just say, when Damo showed up, he was getting shave your back chance.
The new A-Train.
That's sad. Why the hell would they have him go out there without a shirt on? Like,
I don't know.
I just don't understand that. You protect guys like, Kevin Owens. For the longest time, you protected Bull Dempsey with a singlet. Hell, they even protect Baron Corbin now because they don't want people making fun of his smiley face, torso. But Big Damo gets to go out there in his pale, hairy ass sticking out. And it was uncomfortable. I don't like it at all that they're having him go out there in freaking jeans and no shirt. It's just dumb.
You sound uncomfortable. I'm sorry for laughing, but that was just it's uncomfortable.
Into a corner and grow up into a ball and go to my happy place.
I just love when you're just like, it's uncomfortable. I don't like it. but yeah, like I gotta say too, and don't get me wrong, I'll rag on him till the day I die too. But I love how much they gave ZZ shit. ZZ, you've got to lose the weight. Hey, Big Damo, go out there and just do your thing. Well, can I wear the shirt? No, we don't want to wear a shirt. You look good. I know,
and that's the thing. Like, that had to be an executive decision. Like, he probably doesn't want to go out there without a shirt on because, he probably doesn't want to have to shave his chest and or back hair, and he knows that you're kind of, asking for trouble by not doing that. But They were just like, no, you know what? God damn it. Take your shirt off, you son of a bitch.
I could just imagine the conversation. Big Damo, you're going to go out there shirtless. Really? But I'm really hairy. No, you're going to go out there shirtless. It's going to make you look burly and fierce. But I'm
Guys,
self-conscious.
You realize I don't use any fake tanner, right? I'm a pale Brit. Come on.
I said go out there without the shirt, but I'm self-conscious. Angrier. I'm self-conscious. Good, now do it. So, you know, I don't know.
I love that. Angrier. I'm self-conscious. Good, now go do it.
You know,
that's like how they trained Braun Strowman. Like, you know what, Mick Foley? I don't like that. I don't have competition. Angrier. You know what, Mick Foley?
And then I love how Mick goes on Facebook and he's like, I don't know if Braun Strowman meant that he's going to end me next week or if there literally won't be a next week. Oh, Braun.
I'm looking up Big Damo to see how tall he is because I feel like he's only like 6. Oh, he's 6'4". He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's
nice.
He's not old, gigantic weight wise. He's also quite tall.
Well, I guess it all works out in the end, except for the fact that he's not wearing a shirt, which is still problematic.
Angrier.
It's still problematic.
That was perfect.
With that said,
now go do it in front of a crowd.
Oh, but I can't get anywhere. But oh my God, what's happening? But do you have anything else you want to say about this match?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. We can move on. And up next, we had No Way Jose versus Andrade Cien Almas. Solid match here. I love Jose. And while we were watching this, I was thinking back to when we first saw Levis Valenzuela Jr. in a tag match, and I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a big deal. And now we have No Way Jose, and he's a big deal.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna level with you, bro. This was my match of the night tonight. I
sure.
thoroughly
This
enjoyed
was
this.
fun. This was a lot of fun. I liked this and Samson Strong, but this was my favorite, I think.
Yeah, I was torn between those exact two matches, dude. You and I are on the same freaking wavelength tonight, and I think why I chose this.
And what people need to realize is we finished watching NXT at 11:24, and then we had to take a break from Skype to Google Hangouts. And while I was making the Google Hangouts, John wasn't even communicating with me. And he entered the Hangout at 11:33. So we were supposed to go live at 11:30. So as soon as he came in, I was like, all right, dude, you ready to go? And he was like, yeah, go. And I hit start broadcast. There was no communication between this show and us doing this. And we're still this on the same page.
Yeah! But why I chose this, dude, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everything you say about No Way Jose is true, and I'm not trying to shortchange him by any means, but I fucking love Andrade as a heel. Oh my God. It's like, yes.
He's pretty amazing.
Yes, it's like a finely aged wine that I open for only the most special occasions. You know, it's just so delicious to watch him do what he was meant to do. I think he even looks happier now that he's the proper alignment. Like, oh my God, I don't have to worry about these snot-nosed kids liking me or not. I can be me, which is better.
And I don't know if you saw this, but apparently at the Osaka show, he actually wore his La Sombra mask.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, see, this just shows you how tired I am of the Joe Nakamura feud. Why didn't we get that instead? That is something I would have liked to have seen. But yeah, this match was so much fun. No Way Jose is a beast. I love that he's got so much energy and such a connection that he gets like a beautiful right hook over. And, you know, that gets the crowd to pop. And as far as Andrade goes, I'll tell you, sometimes finishers do take a little while to warm up on me, but that DDT, though, has grown on me. I actually think it's better than Bobby Roode's Impaler. I think it's sick. I think it's got a cool look. And he just drove Jose's head into the mat, and he's punched his ticket to the Fatal 4-Way. Do you see? And I love this, too, because when he's a babyface, he does shit except, like, lose to everybody. Heel for only a little bit, beats Cedric, and now wins this match, and now he's going to a Fatal 4-Way for the #1 contenders for the NXT Championship. Villainy, people. Villainy always wins. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, that just felt so much like an infomercial. Like, oh, are you having problems with people walking all over you? Do you feel unappreciated in your life? Villainy, people. It works.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, betray your friends, shit on your family, steal from coworkers, everything's going to be okay. Like
Join the
that
hashtag Scum Squad.
hashtag Scum Squad for life.
For life.
Shirt coming next year. But yeah, I mean, no way.
Yeah, literally, guys, I want you all to know that when we do our end of the year awards ceremony, that the hashtag Scum Squad t-shirts drop.
And guys, I gotta tell you, I mean, not to put any pressure on anybody, but I'd like to think that this will be our best-selling shirt ever. And I'm not projecting, I'm not self-conscious, or if it makes anybody feel any better, I'm not self-conscious. So, you know, just do what you can.
He did it angrier, guys. You gotta give him credit for that.
Exactly. So, yeah, dude, really fun match here. And I love that Andrade is getting to do stuff like this already. And to be honest, I don't know if we'll ever go back to an age in NXT where it had that meant more a developmental vibe even in its champions, because it seems like only these really big league guys now hold the NXT championship. But I hope one day Andrade can find his way in there, because he is such a great heel. I'd love to see him have a run with that shit. But for now, he gets in the Fatal 4-Way, and I'm quite happy about it. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's about it for the match, because obviously Andrade did win with the hammerlock DDT that he has begun using as his finisher, which is amazing. And that's about it. There was no like post-match or anything. And then we get right into our fourth match of the night, third in Full Sail specifically, Elias Samson versus Roderick Strong. And Elias did have a pre-match song, but it was barely even audible because the crowd was booing so loudly.
Oh my God, it's almost as if he's a heel.
He's an actual heel.
He's a heel and he's fulfilling his proper function of getting heat. Oh my God, what world is this? Yeah, Elias continues to be brilliant. If any of you think differently, you clearly, honestly, in my opinion, don't know what a heel is, because he's fulfilling that function better than anybody right now. And like, there are heels that I love, like Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is loved by people. You should have seen the support he got when he tweeted about the child that he made cry, and the mother like going on social media to complain. Like, everybody had his back except maybe for a handful of people. Elias Samson, that man could cure cancer and people would be spitting in his face. He is the top heel to me right now with the booze that he gets. It's unbelievable.
No, you had the answer to cancer this whole time. Why wouldn't you put it out sooner, you scumbag?
Exactly. You know, they'd always find a reason to fault him. And it's like that joke we made when I unleashed my inner Jesse Pinkman, when you were like, oh, I don't have a response to him. And I'm like, well, it kind of seems like you're responding to him right now, Mark. And I say it again. Mark, like, you know, come on. So yeah, he's great, and he's another heel that if NXT, if both Andrade and Elias, guys like that, were a part of NXT when it was getting that revamp and it was in its infancy, you know, with the Prince Leo Kruger and that whole era, they'd probably be NXT champions by now. In this era, it's kind of up in the air to me. You know, I don't know. I think it could really go either way, but then
the era of former TNA stars.
Exactly, because we all know that Bobby Roode, Eric Young, all those guys have got to get their run first.
That's the funny thing tonight, dude. We had 5 matches tonight, so 10 competitors, and of those 10 competitors, 4 were former TNA stars.
Wow.
Yeah. Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Samoa Joe, and I'm forgetting someone.
Bobby Roode.
Roderick Strong.
Oh yeah, Roderick. Oh yeah, Roderick Strong did have a stint in TNA, didn't he? That's right. Yeah. But you know what though? I will say, if anybody makes me comfortable with that, Roddy is another one that I'd call the exception rather than the rule. That man is brilliant. But I know you're a big Roderick Strong fan as well, so I'll have you take the reins on this one. What did you think of this match?
It was fine. I didn't really, you know, wasn't anything special. Elias Samson is. I would literally, that's not the word I meant to use. I would legitimately argue that Roderick Strong, or not Roderick Strong, God, words, English, learn. I would legitimately argue that Elias Samson is the most underused performer and underutilized and underappreciated and underwritten performer in NXT.
Yeah.
Well, okay, second behind Ty, because he should be given the world on a platter.
Oh, well, I mean, and dude, it's funny because those two examples, you've got your top babyface and your top heel, and they're both so untapped yet. Even given everything that Ty's been like slowly getting recently, I mean, Elias is still stuck in neutral. If not, he's going in reverse, which sucks because, again, the heat he gets, that's main event level heat. Like, you put a strap on that guy, and people will be clamoring for any babyface to beat him for it. It's a shame. I really don't think they know what they have in Samson. Ty, I think they may slowly be starting to figure it out, so I'm going to ease up on that. But yeah, Elias, they're still completely clueless. I agree with you.
All right. So we kind of already established Roddy Strong won, right?
Yeah, I mean, he wins after, I believe, a sick kick. Which,
and
I mean,
Corey Graves actually called it a sick kick.
Awesome. I will say this, too. I just love watching Roddy compete. Like, he is just so good. And when he picks up the pace and he speeds up, I think I've called him before. And if I haven't, I'll call him again here so it's established. I've called him the Energizer Bunny of professional wrestling because the guy does not stop. And it's amazing how quick he is and his endurance and everything else. I mean, this is the same guy that went to a draw against Jay Lethal for the ROH World title when he was still working, those promotions. And he wins here. And like I said before, I think it's smart that he's starting out as a babyface, but I think when you get him in more in-depth stories and he's allowed to show more personality, I hope that they do make the shift to him being a heel because I loved his reign as PWG champion, Mount Rushmore 2.0 and all that stuff. So I think they've got a gem in Roderick Strong. And yes, Elias Samson is criminally underutilized, but I am happy that Roderick is with us, here on NXT, and I am happy he got this win. Fun match. And he is, yet another part of the Fatal 4-Way.
Yep. And then we had the announcement that we were going to be getting Daria versus Billie Kay next week. So you already kind of established that because we talked about that when we talked about their interview. But then we closed things out with our main event of the evening, Oney Lorcan versus Bobby Roode. And this is for the final spot. And as expected, both men are very over. I think Oney Lorcan was almost unexpectedly over. I didn't realize how over he was in Full Sail, so it's awesome that he had that kind of reception. Bobby Roode, as over as you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, that theme, and maybe there should be an asterisk there. The theme is as over as you'd expect because I do wonder, which is still a detriment to Roode, who is supposed to be the heel. And, we've already talked about that, so there's no need to rehash that here. But, yeah, I mean, it was a fine match. It was serviceable. I like Oney Lorcan. I think when it comes to guys that I know can go in ring, I'm just always waiting for them to be given more to do. And Oney Lorcan has just been kind of there, having, really good matches. But where's the story? Like I've said to you guys before, I think Lucha Underground's really spoiled me on that front. I used to be content with just really good matches, but now, like, I want people that I like and that I know are talented to be given characters, to be given depth, to be given more to do. So Oney Lorcan may get his number called up one of these days to, be able to do that within the NXT framework, but tonight was not that night. After a competitive bout, Bobby Roode does win with the glorious DDT, and he does round out the Fatal 4-Way. So it is going to be Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Bobby Roode, and Andrade in the Fatal 4-Way. That seems like a very fun Fatal 4-Way, and I love that we're going to get a Fatal 4-Way to determine their number one contender when Lucha Underground has their Battle of the Bulls tournament, which is predicated on Fatal 4-Way matches. So that's quite funny to me, but yep, I digress. Anything you want to say about Bobby Roode winning here?
Nah,
you know what? I don't blame you, bud. I don't blame you. With that said, let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. You know what? My low shot is going to be Eric Young, because if I was him, I would be so pissed at my stablemates. I didn't get pinned. I didn't submit, all because one of my stablemates thought that I didn't have a match in hand. They operated on an assumption, not on fact. They cost me an opportunity at the NXT Championship, and that's worse. Because when you get beat, you get beat. It happens. You dust yourself off. But now Eric Young's always going to have to deal with that doubt, which he probably won't even register because he's supposed to be crazy. And, yeah, he won't even be competing for the number one contendership next week. So, rough night for Young. He's my low shot.
Yeah, that's a really solid pick. Mine is a little bit more out of left field. My low shot is going to be Ty Dillinger, and the reason is because even when it's clear that he is the most beloved character in NXT, second only to Nakamura, who is the current world champion, he still can't manage to pull a clean win out of his ass.
Yeah, only Ty Dillinger would advance to a match to determine the number one contender for his brand's world title and still be a low shot. That is what I call a perfect 10. But yeah, I mean, it does suck that he can't put the clean win together, that he really can't be embraced in the sense of you're credible enough to get these wins and you have the fan support to get these wins. So we're just going to let you run wild with it. You know, and maybe they will in time. But you know what scares me about that, though, if I'm being honest? If they ever do come to, like, really embrace it, what if it's like an ROH thing where it's too little too late? Or they bungle it somehow? You know, I always kind of worry. You know, it's always concerning. But as far as my high spot goes, you know what? I'm in a good mood because of Lucha and because of heel Andrade, and that's exactly who my high spot's going to be. Andrade Cien Almas.
He won.
And he won. Exactly. He won. He's the proper alignment. He looks like he's having fun to me. Like, yes, finally, my greatness can be seen by everyone that I'm better than. You know, I really identify with Andrade on so many levels, particularly that one. But yeah, he wins, and he is my high spot. He moves on to the Fatal 4-Way. And if I'm being honest, I mean, I feel like I already know who's going to win. I feel like you feel the same way. I'm going to be emotionally rooting for Andrade, though. I am loving his work. And hell, Nakamura's champion, so I am picking a heel. I know it won't happen, but man, Andrade winning would be awesome. Happy for him.
All right, well, Andrade is your high spot, so I guess that gives me a choice between Roderick Strong and Bobby Roode. And I'm going to take neither. My high spot's going to be Peyton Royce because she doesn't have to potentially job to Daria next week.
Oh my god, that fake out though! You thought it was a binary. He made it a triangle. Oh shit. But
I mean, if anything, I made it quaternary because I also could have picked Nakamura for retaining.
Oh my god. Yeah, you know, I have to agree with that logic, man. I have to agree with that logic. Peyton Royce gets out of a, you know, potentially scathing situation. I mean, can you imagine losing to Daria? I mean, you might as well just retire. But I don't think that'll happen to Billie Kay, so I'm not going to be an insensitive feelings herder. Billie Kay has all of my support. But yeah, Peyton, you definitely got the good end of the deal. We'll talk. But yeah, so with that said, any concluding remarks you have about NXT?
What was that?
Any concluding remarks you have about NXT?
Yeah, I got a concluding remark for you. Next time we get a live special, we're not covering NXT for 4 episodes after the live special ends.
Yeah, me and Ashton have been talking about it, guys. We think that's going to be our new coverage going forward because we feel that NXT really picks up around that time, building to a takeover. Because you know all this stuff, like it was fun, but it's like I think we all know where it's pretty much headed. So yeah, that'll be NXT coverage going forward.
NXT Takeover Toronto, I believe, was the 19th, wasn't it? Or I don't know exactly.
Let me see if I just go back. You're probably right because the 19th was a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 19th, and that means that the episode that we just watched would have been the 4th episode after the live special. So this would have been the last episode we wouldn't have covered an area that's going to become a reality after NXT Takeover San Antonio. So after Takeover San Antonio, we're going to take a 4-week break from NXT, and then we will be back reviewing weekly NXT episodes on the 5th episode after the Takeover.
Yeah, so you guys will still get NXT coverage. It's just being modified a bit. But with that said, is there any other concluding remarks you want to make about NXT?
I don't think so. I think that about covers it, and we don't really need to replace it with anything because it's already kind of an overflow because it's on Wednesday nights, which is Lucha nights. So you're still going to get your same Lucha Underground coverage forever and ever, 100 years, foreverandever.com. But you're not going to get NXT on those 4 weeks after the live special.
Yeah, so that's the new structure going forward. With that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-worker commentary, Ashton. Guys, Be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. Remember, the more likes you give this video, the more likely it is to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And as I've said countless times before, when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place you belong. So please, if you enjoyed this review, if you enjoyed our discussion about the Fatal 4-Way qualifiers, leave a like. And now, guys, I just want to plug a few things, starting first and foremost with the t-shirts. On Teespring, we have got 2 t-shirts. I'm a TWitWoW guy. And for our female audience, looking at you, Ella, Jackie, and other female fans, I'm a TWitWoW girl. Now, it's after midnight, so today's the 15th. This is your last day to order and take advantage of a sale going on with these shirts. So I would take advantage of that. Perfect Christmas gift, both for yourself and your family and friends who might be wrestling fans. You can smarten them up to the best wrestling podcast on the web today. So please go get yourself a t-shirt. It's awesome. I love it. I think it's a great design. You'd look great in it. You know you'd look great in it. So what are you waiting for? Other 2 things I want to plug. Q&A. Q&A is going to be December 30th, our last Q&A of 2016. Now, you have multiple mediums with which to submit questions. You can comment on this video even after it's been processed, and you can leave comments. You can tweet at either of us. You can see our Twitter handles in the background. You can check out our Facebook page. If you do so, please leave a like on that page. Give it some love and message us there. So you have multiple mediums with which to leave questions. Everybody gets up to 5 questions per Q&A. Doesn't mean you have to use all 5. It just means that 5 is your maximum. That's your holster, so to speak. You can divvy up these questions any way you want. Just to give a very straightforward example, you have 5 questions. You can give all 5 to both of us. Or if you're feeling like being a feelings learner and not wanting me to be a part of the discussion, you could give all 5 to Ashton and none to me. And in all seriousness, obviously wouldn't bother me. Some people just really want to know more about one of us. That's totally cool. We've gotten very diverse questions, and that's another thing. You can ask virtually anything. If we don't like a question, we will let you know, and you can substitute it with something else if you want. So, yeah, you've got a lot of options here, guys. Please participate in Q&A. You have now 15 days, so a little over 2 weeks to get your questions in before the final Q&A of 2016. Last thing I want to plug, the Patreon. We are now offering Patreon reviews, live reactions, or a package of both. Go on the Patreon, check out the price points for each thing, see what you want. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, that sounds good, and the price seems fair, but how exactly will I know? What's the quality of what I'm getting? Well, first of all, if you watch this podcast regularly, you should already know the kind of quality we deliver. But if you're looking for Patreon requested reviews in particular, we have one already on the channel, Survivor Series 2002. That, in my heart, is going to go down as one of my favorite TWitWoW reviews. We had a shit ton of fun. I remember laughing my ass off multiple times throughout the course of that review. It's a fun time. It's a great party, doing Patreon requested reviews from our listeners. And if you're looking for a more real-time example, be sure to tune in tomorrow because we're going to be covering our second Patreon requested review ever, Halloween Havoc 1997. So come in and join us, and maybe after that review, you'll think to yourself, I'd like to be a part of this experience. I'll donate something. All donations are greatly appreciated, guys. It means the world to us that you make financial contributions to make TWitWoW, the amazing podcast that it is, and to show that you support us. It is not lost on us whatsoever. So again, be sure to join us tomorrow, Halloween Havoc 1997. Going to be a really fun show to cover. And until then, guys, tune in and peace out.